January the 4th, 2021.
Oh, man. All right, you're probably not going to get this first try.
Probably not.
we got a new year to get through.
Got a lot of factors in here. New month, new day, didn't go to work today.
Ugh. It's like your whole world's crumbling.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But for other reasons.
Other reasons.
All right. Here we go. Hey everybody, it's Tuesday, January the 4th, 2021, and this is the Fourth and Wrong Podcast. I'm your host, RJ, and joining me as always is Keith. Say hi, Keith.
Hi, Keith. First try, live.
Live.
New date, or new year and everything.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Look at you go. Today's podcast is actually live actually. Put it on a t-shirt.
Put it on a t-shirt.
We decided last minute to just go ahead and broadcast it because today's a special episode, and also
it's a very special edition.
Very special edition of the Fourth and Wrong Podcast.
One of us is pregnant.
And it's not me.
Yeah, well, way to fucking... Listen, we've got 22 minutes and 4 commercial breaks that we've got to get through to resolve this storyline. They didn't have to know it was me now.
Well, there's only 2 of us, and, put us both next to each other. Who do you think it is?
Yeah, it's probably me.
Yeah, I'm not trying to body shame you, RJ.
It's the pregnant pauses, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the incessant need to pee a lot.
Oh, well,
that clued me in. You got a human sitting on your bladder.
Mm-hmm. Also,
or you have prostate cancer.
Also, I hope you have Facebook pulled up because I will be responding to chat in this episode.
Aha.
So, hey, Drew.
Knocking up RJ like a champ. I did no such thing. I do have Facebook pulled up.
I figured this is a celebratory episode where we both get to be happy about things. So let's involve other people in our happiness. Like, look at this shit next to you, and look at this shit next to me.
Clinched, baby!
Beat the tar out of the Dolphins, baby!
We beat a Steelers practice squad by 2 points, baby.
Hey, clinched is clinched, right?
The dub's a dub.
Listen, as soon as you're in the dance, it doesn't matter.
Yep. Everyone's 0-0 in the playoffs.
Exactly. Except for the Chiefs and Green Bay, who get to be like -1 and 0. They get a freebie in that first round.
Yeah, they get a mulligan.
Yeah.
So, fuckers.
God, the Bills could have had a bye week. Why'd we have to expand the playoffs? You'd have still been in, the Colts would have been out, and we'd have had a bye. Fuck this new system. That's been the podcast.
All right, wrap it up, I guess.
But no, we start with Browns as usual.
We always start with Browns. The Browns beat the Steelers.
Yeah, they did.
In a win and in scenario.
Mm-hmm.
To clinch the number 6 seed.
You guys still could have made it in with a little bit of help, though, right?
We could have made it in with help. We could have made it in with a Ravens loss,
which didn't happen,
to the Bengals, or we could have made it in with you guys beating Miami,
which did happen.
Or you guys beating Miami, Baltimore beating the Bengals, but in week 16. The Titans would have had to lose last week and this week, which obviously didn't happen. That was the get some help scenario from last week. Fortunately, it didn't play out that way. The Browns, for the most part, handled their business against, even though one would argue a second string slash practice squad Steelers roster, they definitely showed up to play, especially towards the end of the game.
But okay, before we get into game analysis, I want to ask you this real quick. What makes you happier, being in the playoffs period, or well, I guess you probably had the Steelers lost last week, you'd be playing for the division, right? You would have been playing for your division. Would you have automatically been in at that point?
No, we still would have had to have beaten the Jets.
No. Well, yeah, had you beaten the Jets and had the Steelers lost that game and you were playing for the division, would you automatically be in? Do we know the math on that?
Yeah. We would have clinched at least the 6th seed last week if we beat the Jets, no matter how it played out.
So never mind. Because I was going to say, what's better, just being in the playoffs or like potentially losing out because you would have had to play the for real Steelers who probably wanted home field? Yeah.
Arguably, well, I mean, that scenario still could have happened though, because if both us and the Steelers lost last week, or both us and the Steelers lost or won last week, then the game this week would have been for the division,
right? And
it would have been full strength Steelers. A clinch either way, but if both us and the Steelers lost last week, then it wouldn't have been a clinch, and this would have been a win and a division title. Or if we lost to the Steelers, they would have won the division, and we need help to stay in the wild card.
Yeah.
So ultimately, this was kind of, in a weird roundabout way, this was the easier pathway for the Browns.
Right.
Was for us to lose, the Steelers to win, so they have nothing to play for. And so that was the help.
So now you only got to do one thing. You got to punish it.
Pretty much. Because guess who we matched up with in first round of the playoffs? The Steelers.
Yep.
At Heinz Field.
Yep. Hey.
After they rested all of their starters.
Still an empty stadium, though.
Still an empty stadium. We had 12,000 fans.
Hey.
And they sounded like 30,000.
Which is still only half the stadium, but you know,
still
it's
only
something.
Half the stadium. It's more than zero.
Yeah.
Especially after the last play of the game. So, large overview. Browns beat the Steelers by 2, and the reason why that is because of several factors. We got all of our receivers back from last week.
That's good.
Good start. And then lost the rest of our secondary.
That's bad.
Yeah, because they all got the COVID or were tangential to the people with the COVID. And then none of our linemen that are injured have yet to return. So what we gained in offensive capabilities, we significantly lost in defense capabilities, and everything kind of remained status quo when it came to the front of the offensive line.
How are your linemen looking for next week?
That I don't know. It's right now the injury report is still saying questionable for the key players like Wyatt Teller.
Yeah, I was going to say, but if I know anything out of Wyatt, if he's got 2 fucking working legs, he's going to be in there. It's
the playoffs. They're going to play. You can't keep people like him off the field.
Excuse me, real quick. Playoffs?
Some news, some history made. This is the first time the Cleveland Browns have made the playoffs in 18 years.
Hey, you beat our record.
We beat your record by a year.
And you only needed the season where we expanded the playoffs to do it.
Well,
you got in at 6, I know.
The way it shook out, we didn't.
Right.
But yes, that certainly that helped me breathe a little bit. That number 7 spot was still available if we fucked up the Steelers game and then everybody else died.
Yeah.
First time we've made the playoff in 18 years. First time we've had a winning season since 2008. First time we've had 11 wins since 1994 when Bill Belichick was our head coach. The first rookie head coach in Browns history since Bill Belichick to have 11 wins.
That's a solid stat right there.
Yep. Only one of 5 rookie head coaches in Cleveland Browns history to have 11 wins. Of one of which is the late great Jim Brown that led the team to 3 league titles. So Kevin Stefanski definitely with this game kind of solidified that potential Coach of the Year trophy. Yeah, look what happened when Sean McDermott won Coach of the Year.
No, Sean McDermott has not won Coach of the Year.
He did by some polls, didn't he?
Mm-mm. I mean, I could vamp here for a minute, but I'm going to tell you, I would know it if Sean McDermott won anything or if Brandon Beane won anything. It's only been a couple of years. I mean, we got close probably with Tyrod, when he turned that around, but that was probably the closest he got.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Buffalo don't win awards, except Super Bowls. Soon.
That is a potential.
But we're jumping ahead.
It was John Harbaugh? Why was it John Harbaugh? Fuck John Harbaugh.
Because he had Lamar, probably.
Yeah, whatever. I don't retract my statement. Kevin Stefanski could totally win Coach of the Year.
He could. I think he totally could. I think it.
I honestly think Sean McDermott's going to win it, though. But we'll get to that.
I honestly think Brian Flores is going to win it, but,
Well, that would have... If Miami stayed in the playoffs, he would have made it.
or there's the obvious choice of the tandem Coach of the Year and Comeback Player of the Year from the
Alex Smith, Ron Rivera.
From the football team.
Yeah. I'm telling you, rename the trophy. We're getting horribly sidetracked. We'll get to all that. So a lot of big stats in history being made in Cleveland. This was honestly probably the most stressful game of football I've watched in a very long time because of the stakes. Because if we would have lost, we just needed help.
Yeah. Well, you also threatened that if you lost, there wouldn't be a podcast anymore.
There certainly would not be a podcast. You'd be flying solo,
dickhead.
This is the second time I've threatened it this season. I've yet to fulfill one of those obligations. We'll get to it. I never said when. I want to see this season out first. So some good things happened in this game. After the stinker our rushing offense put up last week, Nick Chubb was able to go back out there and reestablish himself as the workhorse of the team, and then carry the team when he needed to.
Busting out that 47-yarder early.
Yeah, getting that 47-yarder early was key because it let us go into halftime relatively comfortable with a 10-6 lead. And then scoring again in the third quarter, putting it up 17-6 after their field goal, 17-9. We're multi-score lead going into the fourth quarter.
Not a 6-point team.
Not a 6-point team, factually. Honestly, though, I have to say there's less things about the Browns side of this game to talk about than on the Pittsburgh side.
Okay.
Because although our offensive line and our secondary are beat to shit right now, Baker Mayfield was sacked 4 times against arguably one of the best lines in the league. Injured, but still statistically one of the better lines in the league. And they went on a tear in the fourth quarter to make this a one-score game. Mm-hmm. With serious implications of tying it up towards the end. It came down to 8 points. Mason Rudolph looked good. He looked solid.
Concussion-free.
Concussion-free. Myles Garrett didn't try to murder anybody. Myles Garrett actually played on a snap count because he was dealing with an arm injury.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and then Chase Claypool, because our secondary is injured or out with COVID, including Denzel Ward. Chase Claypool was lining up against second and third string corners on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
So the secondary on Chase Claypool's side was getting abused. And that allowed Mason Rudolph, especially in the fourth quarter, that allowed that entire offense to really get some momentum and just push down the field quickly, too. And I think ultimately how quickly they pushed down the field, it put the game in more of a question than it should have been, because there was one key coaching decision that Kevin Stefanski made that statistically makes sense. But I almost think I would have preferred the alternative. So basically, what had happened was, we had an offensive possession that put us on the Steelers' 35 or something like that. It was 4th down. Instead of kicking the 51-yard field goal and going up by 2 scores, we just chewed 6.5 minutes off the clock.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of kicking the field goal, a 51-yard field goal, and going up by 2 scores and leaving the Steelers with only 6 minutes left in the entire game to score twice, we went for it and failed to convert. And then the Steelers immediately went downfield. We're only up by 8 points at this point.
I really feel like people should stop taking points off the board.
I understand it, though, because Cody Parkey.
How long would the field goal have been?
His career long is 53.
Uh-huh.
And everything past 53 is either doink or just way off.
Uh-huh.
I understand the decision, because if we would have converted that 4th down, we basically could have chewed the clock and pretty much cemented the game. Also, if we needed to resort to a field goal at that point, after we converted the 4th, it would have been a closer field goal we would have been more comfortable with, so we could have chewed more clock, shore up a better field goal opportunity for Cody Parkey and still go up by 2 scores. Instead, we turned the ball over, down only up by 8, and the Steelers go down the field in a minute and a half and immediately score a touchdown.
Uh-huh.
So now it's a 2-point conversion to tie the game with 4 minutes left. And then Mason Rudolph overthrows his receiver. And my dick rock hard. Because as I've said several times in this show, who's the number 1 team in the league for chewing clock in garbage time?
It's you guys.
It's the Cleveland motherfucking Browns. So they saddled up they put Nick Chubb back in the rotation, because before that they had Kareem Hunt in for pretty much the entire drive for the change of pace. So they put Nick Chubb right back in, and Nick Chubb just started fucking pounding it right in their face. All the way down to another, it was either a 3rd down or 4th down conversion for the last drive of the game, to where they called a designed QB outside sweep.
Yeah. And Baker was like, slide, slippity
and Baker
slide.
Ninja slided for the 1st down, and then erupted from a pile of bodies the most hype.
Mm-hmm.
Because at that point in time, Pittsburgh was officially out of timeouts, and we were able to victory formation to clinch a playoff win against a playoff seat against a division rival.
Baker Swagfield reemerged in a way I have not seen him look in kind of a while now.
Yeah, it was.
He went, that's my 1st down.
Right? It was another one of those games where Baker didn't have to do much. And honestly, he wasn't given a lot of opportunity to do much, because, like I said, there's a lot more to say about how well the Steelers were playing. Mm-hmm. Especially for them having rotational players in, benching a lot of starters. They still had some guys in there, Minka was playing.
Yeah.
And obviously Chase Claypool and Juju Smith-Schuster were out there, but a lot of their rotational players, they were sitting because they're the ones that get beat up the most.
Plus they've already earned all their bonuses.
Yeah, they already got all their bonuses. They're good to go. Let's keep them fresh for the playoffs. And they were getting after the quarterback, and Baker Mayfield was running for his life a lot, but Baker Mayfield's slippy, and he was able to convert some key 1st downs with his legs, and especially the last play of the game, the last offensive movement of the game, converting a very key conversion in order for us to clock out the game. It was uglier than I wanted it to be.
AFC North, baby.
But that's AFC North football. We had a lot of controversy in the Browns camp coming into this game. Our facility was only open for 1 full day because of all these COVID cases. And the NFL determined that all of them were isolated incidences, so they didn't need to reschedule the game, because for the most part there were. But because there was positive testing, the moment there's positive testing, they shut down the facility.
Yep.
To the point where by Friday, they did all of their practices and walkthroughs virtually on Friday. They didn't even bother trying to reopen the practice space. So they only got 2 physical practices, and only one of those practices was a full day of practice coming into this game. With all backup and rotation secondary players, only 3 starters on the offensive line. It made the game much tighter than I wanted it to be. No moral victories. I still think we should have sealed the deal a little earlier in the game. But like you said at the top of the show, it's a win.
It's a win.
We're in the playoffs for the first time in 18 years. We got to get ready for the Steelers again next week because they're going to have everybody. Hopefully we can have everybody. And like I said earlier in the season, if we get the Baker Mayfield and Nick Chubb we got during that middle part of the fourth quarter of the season, when they played the Titans and when they played, that string of games where both Baker and Chubb were just playing lights out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I think the Browns are good enough not to be one and done. History has an opportunity to repeat itself, though, because another interesting fact.
And at least if history doesn't repeat itself, at least it rhymes.
Yeah. The last time the Browns were in the playoffs in 2002, they played in the wild card against the Steelers and were promptly eliminated. Mm-hmm. And then the last time before that was with Bill Belichick, and we were eliminated in the second round by the Steelers.
Yep.
So the last 2 times we've been in the playoffs, we have not been able to make it past the Steelers. And we're getting them right up front in Heinz Field. No fans, but so there's reason for optimism. And then, obviously there's reason for optimism because we're in the fucking playoffs.
Hey, you're in the dance, baby.
Yeah, we're dancing. We're dancing in January.
In arguably the most competitive AFC that we've seen in a long time.
In very recent history. Yeah, that was a number I threw at you yesterday, was there's not a single playoff team in the AFC this season that has less than 11 wins. Mm-hmm. Versus the NFC, which has, a 10-6 team, 2 8-7 teams that almost made it in. And we're going to be having a team hosting a playoff game with a losing record against a team that is quarterbacked by Tom fucking Brady.
Salute to you, the NFC East. As we watch your fucking funeral pyre burn, is what I mean.
The NFC is bizarro land. The Bears clinched a playoff spot with a 500 record.
Yo, the Bears are the worst playoff team I've ever seen. The Bears are somehow both the worst 5-1 team and the worst playoff team, and the football team is in the playoffs. Somehow the Bears are still worse. Shout out to all of our boys from Night of the Round. You shit garbage.
Yeah, you got bad football team.
At least this year. Maybe you'll get Matt Stafford next year. I don't know.
Hey, there's always that. So, with every good thing, there must come at a cost.
Uh-huh.
Olivier
urinating
Vernon,
tree?
Yeah. Olivier Vernon tore his Achilles.
Oh,
in this game?
Not great. Not great.
Yeah. So our defense just keeps getting fucking
real ready for next week.
Ready.
Okay, so the new protocols have everybody on at least 10 days for COVID.
Yes.
Is Denzel Ward going to be available?
No.
Well, shit, man.
It's also possible that neither are our 2 starting safeties.
Jesus Christ.
Uh-huh.
And where's Joe Hayden play now?
Pittsburgh.
Shit. That doesn't help.
Doesn't help. Not even a little bit.
Well, I wish you the best of luck.
Look. It's the most Browns way to get into the playoffs.
No, it's not. You won. You won to get in. That's bullshit.
The
most Browns way to get in the playoffs would be
to get help.
Yeah.
Well, this is definitely the most Browns way to come into a playoff game. It's like, fuck yeah, we made it. Our entire defense is third string, but Hey, Myles Garrett's still healthy-ish.
Here's the real question. Would you rather have the Steelers or the Bills right now? Or the Titans?
I would take the Steelers or the Titans. Arguably, I would take the Steelers over the Titans. Because the Steelers are good. They're a good football team. But they have been exposed. We have film of that exposure. And, they technically got back on track last week, but it was against the Bengals.
Yeah.
You know? Against the Bengals that doesn't have Joe Burrow. Right. And as we've seen objectively, that team is much better when Joe Burrow's on the field.
I don't know. The team's got just as many wins without him.
It's true. But not as many points.
Yeah.
And that's what matters in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
T's and P's to Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
I don't want anything.
Listen. Good quarterback play is just good for the league.
Absolutely. But I don't want anything that Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill are selling right now.
Yeah.
We kind of embarrassed them when we played them during the regular season.
Didn't you hold them to 60?
Yeah,
we held them to like 60 rushing yards.
Held them to 60 yards and put up 30-something points in the first half.
That's pretty good.
So, yeah, I mean, we have a formula that can beat that team, but that formula is currently on injured reserve.
We don't.
Yeah, so I would take the Steelers as it stands right now.
Yeah.
I think the Steelers are more beatable than the recent role that the Titans have gotten on. And I don't want anything the Bills are selling right now. None of it. Not even a little bit. None of that. No. See, because that's the kind of game that would fucking happen with our secondary right now. Josh Allen would just walk out there and just be like, do the normal thing where he's just like, hey, Stephon Diggs, go find some space.
The best part.
It'll get there.
The best part about this score, are we transitioning? Do we have anything else to talk about for the Browns?
No.
So to transition, so this score happened. This number says 56. I've been asking for a 50 burger for like the last 3 or 4 games. We didn't put up points in the first quarter, and Josh Allen didn't play in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
And we scored 56.
Mm-hmm.
And Josh Allen didn't play the second half and still had 3 touchdown passes.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen is the only quarterback in NFL history to have 4,500 yards, 35 touchdown passes, and 5 rushing touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Except he's really got like 38 and 8 and a receiving touchdown.
Right. But they gotta stop the stats somewhere.
They gotta stop the stats somewhere. They gotta round it off eventually. You know, we like our nice round numbers in the NFL. You know what's a nice round number?
What's that?
15,035. It's not a round number at all, but it's what Stephon Diggs got, and he's the league leading wide receiver.
And 127 receptions.
So yeah, something like that.
Lead leaguing in both receptions and receiving yards.
Yeah. Michael Thomas who?
Michael Thomas didn't play for half the fucking season.
Yeah. Stephon Diggs played all year.
Sure did, and it shows.
Big flex.
Yeah. Stephon Diggs, man, he must be so happy right now.
The Bills have traded the number 22 overall pick for the best wide receiver in the league, Stephon Diggs. Thank you. That is all.
Objectively, yeah. Statistically, he's the best wide receiver in the league.
Justin Jefferson put up 1,400.
Yeah.
Like, even. And is on a rookie contract. But we've still got Diggs for like 11 mil a year for the next like 4 seasons.
Yeah, because you guys got him on his Vikes contract, right?
Correct.
And it wasn't renegotiated. Cool.
The way that we renegotiated it was we paid him more up front.
Gotcha. Yeah.
we paid him more this year when we had room for it.
Yeah, you front-loaded the salary cap before you have to pay these other guys.
Yeah. And he was like, "Okay, I'll take another.
Yeah, sure.
I'll take another 3 mil this year."
Absolutely. Tell me about this Antonio Williams guy.
So Okay, let me start at the beginning of the game, and then we'll get into Antonio Williams. So Josh Allen and the starting offense went into the game. Post-game conference, Josh Allen said that he expected to play the entire game. Sean McDermott sat him. He was not planning on sitting this game. Can you imagine? That might have been 80 against this fucking Dolphins defense if Josh was able to stay in the game. But he hit Isaiah McKenzie twice, and then McKenzie took his own fucking punt return, took a punt return to the house. So shout out to both the Denver Broncos and Brandon Perna. We appreciate Isaiah McKenzie. He's in good hands. Like a good neighbor, he's in good hands.
I think that's how that works.
No, that's Allstate and something else. I don't know.
Double check.
Where's Baker? He'll set me straight on who's saying is who. Staples, love the skin you're in. Anyways, yeah, Josh Allen.
AutoZone, you'll love the way you look.
Exactly. AutoZone, maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's a busted carburetor.
Wait, what's that one from?
Maybelline. Maybe she's born with it.
Maybe she's born with it. That's Maybelline?
Maybe it's Maybelline.
That's kind of gross. Okay.
Yeah, well, it's a makeup company,
The whole thing's gross.
They're kind of gross. So we came in first half. Isaiah McKenzie, 2 touchdowns. John Brown, touchdown. Stephon Diggs gets his 76 yards to secure that he was the number 1 receiving target in the league, which he didn't actually have to do. He was far enough ahead of DeAndre Hopkins, who only got 35 yards, and Travis Kelce didn't play. And, nobody else was, really threatening that close. But Diggs breaks 1,500 yards in his first season as a Buffalo Bill. Kirk Cousins who? Fucking, who's a number 1 target? Oh, do we have a number 1 wide receiver in Buffalo? Check mark. Yes, we do. His name is Diggs, and he's going to bring it for the next several years, and it's ridiculous that in post-game conferences, they're like, oh yeah, we're just scratching the surface in our connection. And it's real dumb. So the running game pre-Antonio Williams was just a couple handoffs. Zach Moss did truck a couple fools, which was okay, you're starting to stick people in the chest, which is nice. We do need you to start doing that this time of year. And we were just generally productive to the point where in the second half we said, hey, Matt Barkley, how about you play some? And Matt Barkley said, okay, watch me do my USC shit. Including finding Gabe Davis for a 53-yard bomb at one point where Davis catches it with his fingertips and then stumbles into the end zone.
Yeah, Matt Barkley's completion percentage wasn't great, but he was slinging it.
He was airing that shit
downfield.
out.
He was just pushing it downfield.
And again, in post game, he was like, it doesn't matter who was in. We're not going to stop scoring. At no point were we told to stop scoring points. So, we're not just going to go 3 and out every single try.
Right.
We're going to put shit up.
That's what the Browns do.
Yeah. But yeah, Antonio Williams was a practice squad player that we elevated this week. And he came in and just was like, hey, what's up? I'm going to start just running through everyone because I've got rested energy. And he was carrying some people and also busted off one really good run. I think it was for 18 or something for a touchdown. But he looked big and angry compared to our 2 5'8" running backs. He looked intimidating.
You know why I like Antonio Williams?
Because he's a Tar Heel.
Yes.
Okay.
He is literally the only player on your guys' roster that I legitimately have information of.
Because he was Ohio State and then a Tar Heel, right?
Yeah, he was a transfer. But he's also a North Carolina native.
Oh.
He grew up in New London. He went to North Stanley. for high school. And he started in Ohio State, and then he transferred back to UNC. But like he didn't have like the best seasons with UNC.
Mm-hmm.
But those are the stories you kind of like, like didn't have a stellar collegiate career, but he's a local grown guy that that I'm vaguely aware of, and then going out and showing why he's in pretty good company for maybe an active roster spot next year. You got him for pennies.
Next year, fuck it. I would be.
Let's do it now.
I would be at this point. You know who we didn't put in? T.J. Yeldon. We didn't put in. Oh, now I'm blanking on his name. Our rugby player. Like, we didn't put in Tywan Jones, who I'm not sure if he's still on COVID or not. But we've got other backup running backs that could have gotten reps. Instead, we elevated this practice squad player, and he showed out. So it was like, okay.
And he brings a dynamic that your starting two don't bring. He's big.
He's big, and he's fast.
He's big, and he's fast. Like, just empirically big and empirically fast.
Yeah. He's definitely the guy who you look at your Madden roster, and you're like, okay, Zach Moss and Devin Singletary's like an 82 and Zach Moss is like a 75. And this guy's the guy that's down there who's like a 65, but he's got like 4 inches and like a fucking 90 instead of an 88. And you're like, all right, that guy can get around a corner.
Yeah, it's that guy in Madden you look at where he has like 94 speed and like 90 break tackle and all these stats, but he's still a 68 overall, but he has all the physical traits. It's just like, I can develop him.
It's like ball carrying. Or ball carrier vision. Not great. It's like, yeah, whatever. We'll just fucking pave a way and then he doesn't have to see anything because it's just a hole.
If you part the Red Sea, you don't got to see shit. Just follow the blocker.
That was the other crazy shit was like, when we got to putting in backups, like we were putting in backup linemen, we were putting in backup running backs, backup quarterbacks, like backup. I don't know that we put in backup wideouts. Like we pulled Diggs at one point, but it was still, John Brown was like, this was a good John Brown game to like get him back in and get him reacclimated after he's been on injured reserve and then the COVID list, like to make sure that he's healthy because he caught a fucking finesse bomb from Josh that was just like, okay, that was 38 yards or whatever it was. And just, we're clicking at the right time. And the defense was just taking everything. Like, Josh Norman fucked up at one point and got a pass interference called in the end zone, which gave him the ball at the one and a fresh set of downs. But then later turns around, gets a pick 6 on Tua. Like, Dean Marlowe had 2 picks. Medikevich, who's primarily a special teamer, who's like the backup behind AJ Klein, almost had a pick in the game. Like, it was just left, right, and center. But we're coming together at the right time. Tremaine Edmonds had a sack at one point, and it was like, okay, good to see you actually getting into the backfield on some college shit. You still got to work on wrapping people. I don't know if his arms are too long. Like it seems like he doesn't know what to do with it's like a bungee cord, right? Yeah. So it's like they spring out there and they wrap around and then they just kind of like coil and then let loose. And it's like, no, just hold.
He's got pool noodles.
Yeah. He's got pool noodles for arms. But
yeah, I always say the best time to play your best football is in December and January, and here we are, and the Bills are definitely doing it.
So going up against the Chiefs, I posted this on Facebook earlier, I'm sorry, not the Chiefs, the Colts. Going up against them, the Colts since week 12 have like a 39-point differential. The Bills have like a 119-point differential. Yeah, since week 12.
You guys have definitely run away with the end of the season. Like every win since the loss to the Cardinals has been multiple score victories.
Yep.
And over some decent opponents too. Beating out the Steelers. We're able to completely murder the Patriots, which is always fun to watch.
Yep.
And then putting up a bookend win by essentially blowing out a potential playoff team. to close out the end of the year.
But yeah, overall, very successful game. This was the game that had us sweeping the AFC East, which I literally don't know when the last time that was, but it was probably somewhere around here.
Yeah, the 1988 division championship.
So I'm not only holding it up, but it's also backwards in the thing, but yeah. Found that in my closet earlier, thought it was thematically appropriate for this week.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good. I mean, people are showing out. Gabe Davis had the most yards of any wide receiver or any receiver on the team. You know how many catches he had? 2.
Dose.
Not bad when you've got a 53.5 yard average for the day.
Go long. I'll find you.
Yeah. So Josh found him once and Matt found him once, and that was all he needed.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think honestly, just thinking about the year in general, I think Gabe Davis might have been our best draft pick for this year. Again, excluding Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
Because, he wasn't technically a draft pick, he was a trade.
Still counts, though.
But, Epinesa, I feel like he hasn't really, he hasn't stepped in people expected him to, because early he was projected as the Bills' first round draft pick before we traded our draft pick for Diggs.
Mm-hmm.
He was still projected in that spot. He hasn't really come through. Zach Moss is developing, but still kind of small for a power back.
Mm-hmm.
And then we took Gabe Davis in the 4th round in, again, what was arguably the deepest wide receiver draft class, we've seen maybe ever.
Oh yeah, and for Gabe Davis to be amongst the company of Stephon Diggs, Cole Beasley, Smoke Brown, and still put up almost 600 yards and 7 touchdowns.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean,
arguably. No. What do you mean almost 7 touchdowns? He was leading. Oh no, he just did. Okay, he was leading the team for touchdowns before Diggs went off last week and caught 3 of them. That's what it was.
Yeah, so for him to arguably be a 4th string / rotational wide receiver, especially with John Brown being in and out of the rotation,
he's our big body.
Yeah, and we never know when it's going to be a Cole Beasley or a Stephon Diggs go off, or both.
Yeah.
For him to still break the 500 mark, or basically as a 4th string / rotational receiver, he got work in. I think he's going to do good things for you guys as he continues to develop. Especially kind of seeing how John Brown, like you said, this was a good game for him to kind of reintegrate himself back into the offense. But you guys have enough depth to where if the integration doesn't go that great,
and it's only getting deeper. Because today we signed Kenny Stills.
Oh, sick. So that finally happened.
Yes, he's officially on our practice squad.
Hey.
So,
I mean,
hey, if you need another deep threat who's good for I feel like Kenny Stills has about the Fitzpatrick number of games in him where he's injured regularly but still highly productive.
Oh, absolutely.
It's if he's on the field, he's a fucking threat.
Yeah, he hasn't played a complete season in 3 years, and he missed the entirety of this year.
Yeah.
But he's still 6'1" and can run a legit 4.3.
Yeah.
Just go
that way. If you could be somewhere just down the field, Josh will find you.
It's like what I said at the beginning of the season. Josh Allen is benefiting from having receivers that can run under his arm.
Yep.
With Stephon Diggs.
Now, the mechanics were a huge improvement, but...
Yeah, and developing touch to throw to the slower guys, that also helped.
Yeah. Not blowing people's hands off.
Trying to break wrists and forearms.
I guess my biggest complaint, biggest note, biggest thing that I wish would develop is still Dawson Knox. Because we started having this conversation... I forget if we had it on the podcast or not, but Basically, I determined that our two big things to go to next year in the draft would either be a top tier running back or another cornerback.
Mm-hmm.
But in talking with Sebastian this weekend, he made a good point, which is
y'all need a tight end.
If the Bills could find a fucking tight end, if we could steal a George Kittle or an Ertz or a Kelsey, it's game over.
Mm-hmm.
Just that big dude to go get it.
Yeah, and tight end's one of those positions where you can find value deeper in the draft too. So there's still opportunity for you to go out and get, a top tier corner or something like that.
What was
and
it?
then
Sorry, go
on. Like Harrison Bryant, the rookie the Browns have this year, he turned out to be a great tight end. We drafted him in the 4th round.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, like, even if you go in the 1st round into something like that, Hawkinson went 8 and Fant went like 20 or something, and he was like the 2nd tight end taken, and Fant arguably had a better season.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think more injury prone, but...
Yeah, tight ends are kind of those weird things out of college because they either have one skill set or the other. College is like those offensive systems in college don't develop both. You know, they don't develop Gronks and Kelseys where they can block and catch. They either play in the spread where they're catching or they play in a power rush offense where they're blocking.
Which was the crazy thing with Dawson Knox because he was like almost a decoy in college because he was playing with fucking DK Metcalf and AJ Brown.
Yeah, because he was at Ole Miss, right?
Yep, he was at Ole Miss with both of them.
He was just another guy to scramble the secondary.
I think he caught 4 passes.
Yeah, tight ends like that are just there to clear out the middle of the field.
Yeah. So yeah, if we could get a Gronk or a Kelsey or an Ertz or a the other name I said before, George Kittle. Yeah.
Kittle over the middle.
Like. That would change everything, I think.
Yeah, totally.
And then we can have a dueling backfield still.
Yeah. You want David Njoku? I heard he might want to trade again.
I don't know, kinda.
Yeah, he's a freak. Can't block or catch worth shit, but he's strong.
What? No, we've got one of those. His name's Dawson Knox. He goes like this to people. He wins angry runs.
Yeah.
He ain't got to worry about it.
I'm just kidding. I love you, Chief. You know I do.
Yeah. Maybe he just needs a taller guy throwing it to him. I don't know.
Hey.
Somebody doesn't overthrow him. That was the one nice thing was I saw Austin Hooper cross the goal line and Baker didn't overthrow him and I went, yeah, Browns.
He's getting it. Just because they're 6'5" doesn't mean they can jump 9 million feet in the air.
Seriously. But I think that's all I got on the Bills.
Cool.
We're gonna win the Super Bowl.
You definitely got a chance. I think it's gonna be my playoff predictions, my actual playoff predictions, not the bullshit that I was spouting last night. Although that would be cool too. But I think it's gonna be number 1 and number 2 in the AFC Championship. It's gonna be Chiefs Bills.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, because we're gonna knock off the Steelers and then lose to the Chiefs.
Right. Yes. This thing that this devil's alliance that we made of us murdering Lamar Jackson.
Right. And then you guys are gonna just casually brush Indy out of the way and then do us a solid and murder Lamar Jackson. And if for some reason that does occur, maybe we'll take care of Patrick Mahomes for you. I don't know.
And then we get the Bills-Browns AFC game.
Yeah, maybe we'll just fuck around and win that game. And then it'll be Bills-Browns AFC Championship in Buffalo, in a blizzard, where you get your redemption game from all the Blizzard Bowls that the Browns have beaten you in.
I don't want to lose another Snow Bowl.
We score a safety in the first quarter with Myles Garrett giving Josh Allen a big old happy congratulatory hug. They blow the play dead. And then they have a snowball fight for the next 3 hours. And then left hash bash fucks around and kicks a field goal and you win by 1 point.
From like the 70-yard line.
From the 70, like hammers it. And that's how the Bills win the AFC Championship.
And he hits it from the right hash somehow because the wind's blowing off the lake.
The ultimate redemption game.
Everybody's redeemed.
Stamp it.
The Browns still don't necessarily win anything, but the Bills get to go to the Super Bowl.
Dude, making it to an AFC championship is making it to the Super Bowl for the Browns. We haven't been in the playoffs in 18 years.
I think it's the real thing where it's like,
fuck, this weekend, wild card weekend's my Super Bowl. We haven't been in a playoff in 18 years.
I feel like I know that feeling. I know that feeling.
And then Deshaun Watson happened.
Well, no, the first time actually Blake.
The first time was with Tyrod.
The first time Blake Bortles happened.
Yeah.
That was the ugliest playoff game I think anybody's ever seen.
I haven't heard that name in ages.
No, you know what's the worst? Is the two worst losses we've suffered in the last 2 seasons was Deshaun Watson and Kyler Murray. Because if we could have those are 2 plays where it's like, if you just finish the sack.
If you would have just murdered the bastard.
If you just wrap him up, it's over. But no, Deshaun Watson fucking Houdini's his way out, and Kyler Murray just gets away from Mario Addison and goes, huh! And DeAndre Hopkins goes, I'm the highest paid wide receiver in the league. And I go, yeah, it's for a reason.
I'm also the highest receiver in the league currently because I'm mossing all you assholes.
I will take Stephon Diggs running a slant route and then taking it for 30 to 40 yards after the catch for a tutty.
It's a strategy that's been working.
Yeah.
Touchdown.
Just get open.
Just get open. That's the mantra. Anything else on the Bills?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, let's move on to probably one of the most exciting finishes in an AFC South football game that we've had all year.
I don't remember having sex during an AFC South game, but go on.
The Houston Texans and the Tennessee Titans.
Sorry, you said exciting, not immediate.
Yes, correct. Yeah. You know, there's this app for that. It's called hymns or something.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, you can get them.
You can pray to God and say, please don't make my ejaculation so early. Wait, you're talking about HYMS, right?
Yes. Not religious hymns.
Oh shit.
I was dropping some sick proverbs on my partner yesterday at work, but anyways. So the Texans almost fucked around and ruined the Titans' seasons and made them play you guys again.
Uh-huh.
And then they didn't.
Thank you.
This game is specifically why I don't want anything that the Titans are offering right now against weak defenses. Derrick Henry rushed for 250 yards.
I don't want it.
He ran for 250 yards, officially broke 2,000 yards in the season. He leads the league in carries, he leads the league in rushing yards, and he leads the league in rushing touchdowns.
Okay, I was going to say Diggs did 2 of those for receiving, but not the touchdowns part, but yeah.
Yep. 3 out of the 4 major statistics he leads the league in.
Wait, what's the 4th major statistic?
Yards per carry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which he's still 5.5. So he's still pretty good.
Pretty good.
And then Ryan Tannehill has this really weird ability to just be really good.
Since
not being coached by Adam Gase
I was going to say you get out from under that Adam Gase. Apparently, Adam Gase, QB coach, incredible. Head coach, terrible.
Horrible. So it was a storybook finish. So Houston was down by 7. Houston drives the length of the field. Deshaun Watson is trying to play the hero and upset. They scored a touchdown. They get the extra point. There's a minute left on the clock. 2 plays later, the Titans bomb it downfield, kick a field goal to win. Literally seconds before it went to overtime. And it was the most bananas AFC South game ever. It's games like this why I think we still need to have a GoFundMe for Deshaun Watson. Let's get him out of Houston. Get him out of the AFC.
Until we win a Super Bowl, I'm not going to feel remorse for Deshaun Watson.
Okay.
Oh, one last Bills note. I know we're technically off of it, but 56-26 is scoregami.
Oh, cool. Hey, both of our teams got scoregami.
Hey.
Both of our teams are in the playoffs at the same time.
Hey.
Both of our teams got scoregami. Look at that. Meaningful football, RJ.
Meaningful football in December and January. December.
Yeah, Derrick Henry's
amazing. I guess
amazing.
It was technically January.
Technically January.
January the 4th.
Yeah. What was I saying? Yeah, Derrick Henry's amazing. Ryan Tannehill is playing the best football of his career again. And God, it would be so good. It'd be so good if they beat the Ravens and then it's a Bills-Titans rematch.
No.
In the divisional round.
No.
Yeah.
Don't want it.
Redemption, because then you beat the Titans to get to the AFC Championship. We beat the Chiefs, so you get redemption against the Titans.
So the last time the Bills were knocked out of the playoffs was against the Titans. Actually, that's not true. I guess shit. I'm so ingrained that I'm still thinking about 2000 or like 1999. I'm still thinking about the Music City Miracle as if we haven't been to the playoffs twice in 3 years. And now 3 times in 4 years. It's so I'm so broken as a person.
I just meant like the regular season redemption where they beat you earlier this year.
No, I'm thinking back to like important games.
Yeah, no. Get your double redemption. Come on, Titans. You can do it. Fuck the Ravens.
The Bills will throw a forward lateral and they will not call it.
But that's all I got on that game. Derrick Henry's very scary.
Listen, in a league where you don't pay running backs, there's one man that you pay, and his name is King Henry.
Mm-hmm. Like, words cannot express. Like, words can literally not express the... and credit to the offensive line and the transformation that Tennessee team's had over the past 2 seasons. Winning a division, winning a relatively tough division this year with the Colts kind of having a spring back with Phillip Rivers at the helm. Winning a tough division, fucking Ryan Tannehill having a career renaissance, Derrick Henry having a career renaissance too, because he had those down seasons where everybody was like, oh, maybe he was a 2-year kind of guy. And I remember watching an interview like 2 or 3 years ago of Derrick Henry where they were just like, the coaching staff reminded me how to run angry. And it's like, yeah, but now everyone is physically afraid of you.
also, it's like he had those early years, and then everybody got smaller, and Derrick Henry stayed the same size. It's like, oh, yeah, smaller, faster linebackers to keep up with these scat backs and stuff, and Derrick Henry's like, yeah, please do. Please.
Yeah, the next closest running back by yardage is Dalvin Cook.
Yep.
With almost 500 less rushing yards than Derrick Henry this season.
Well, did Dalvin Cook not also sit the last game?
He probably did. I don't know.
Because they were I think they were only like 300 yards apart.
It's possible.
And then, because here's the thing, was I was looking at it and I was like, okay, these guys are both explosive. Neither one of them is going to touch 2,000, though. Mm-hmm. And then Derrick Henry was like, just kidding.
Yeah. I have to ask you, though.
Okay. No, the Bills' defense cannot stop Derrick Henry.
I was going to kind of ask that in a roundabout way, but thanks for clarifying.
No. We'll put 8 in a box, and we will rely on Trey and Levi and like Micah Hyde, and just be like, Jordan Poyer, please clean up for us.
Nick Chubb still had more yards per attempt, though.
Oh, what compared to Derrick Henry?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, Nick Chubb was also like out
he also
for
led
half
the league
the
in yards
season.
he also led the league in yards after contact. So.
Oh,
who's actually better?
availability is the best ability.
Shut up. Do you have anything else on Titans and Texans? Derrick Henry, a scary boy.
Derrick Henry's a scary boy. It's really, really disappointing that Miami gets a top 3 draft pick this year because of the Texans. That would be my other point.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing I didn't consider until just now.
Yeah. It's like, oh, look, a franchise quarterback and maybe a franchise quarterback. What if they just picked up Justin Fields and Justin Fields was just the new closer?
Yeah, Justin Fields takes over for Ryan Fitzpatrick. Yeah. And then it's the Tua Field show.
2 Fields. 1 team.
Mini championship.
Mini quarterback.
All right, ready for the next game?
What do you think the Dolphins are going to do with that pick? I think they're going to trade back.
I think they're going to trade back.
Because they've already got 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks this year.
Yeah. I think they're going to trade back that pick because they're going to try to develop Tua. And they're going to get weapons around Tua, and that team is going to be scary next year.
And you don't need a number 3 overall, or they draft their replacement for Laramie Tunsil.
Yeah, something like that. It's either they replace a big key piece, or they trade back and just stock up on weapons.
Because
Miami might be a scary football team next year, depending on how the draft plays out.
Yo,
they got capital, space, a young quarterback, and a good head coach.
I'm still not afraid of them because we just literally ground them into paste.
Mm-hmm. But this is still an overachieving roster.
Oh yeah, yes.
Yeah.
If anything can be said about the Dolphins, they started off 1-3.
Yeah.
They are insanely overachieving. Remember when we were laughing at them and the Jets at the same time?
Yeah, they're only 1 season removed from tanking for Tua. Yeah.
Which they also fucked up, but then still got Tua.
Fucked up and still got Tua.
So
yeah, whatever they're doing down in Miami ever since they kicked Adam Gase to the curb.
They brought a Patriots head coach in, and apparently this one's working.
Yeah, so the one time it stays in the division and it's working. All right, you ready to move on?
One last note. I hate that they refer to Brian Flores as B-Flow because every time I hear that, I hear Buffalo in my head, and I'm like, but that's not related to us. But that's my last point.
Okay. That's a good nickname, though. Next game, Packers-Bears. The only reason I want to mention this game is because Aaron Rodgers, also a very bad man.
2nd place for MVP. How many total touchdowns does he have?
48.
So in total touchdowns, Josh has 1 less than him.
Oh, that was just 48 passing.
Does he have any rushing touchdowns, though?
I don't know. We're about to find out.
Because Josh has got 38 passing, 8 rushing, and a receiving. Has Aaron Rodgers caught a pass all season?
Aaron Rodgers has 3 rushing touchdowns this year.
Okay, so he has 51 total.
He has 51 total.
But what's his contract cost? I mean, are we talking valuable or valuable?
He leads the league in passing touchdowns, total touchdowns, interceptions, turnover differential, QBR, completion percentage.
Also, let's be real. If we're talking MVP, Derrick Henry should absolutely be in the running for most valuable player.
My big 3 for MVP this year is totally Derrick Henry, Aaron Rodgers, and Josh Allen. And I think just because of the nature of the quarterback position, Derrick Henry, it's going to go Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, Derrick Henry in the voting.
I think Pat Mahomes is still going to get more votes because people are dumb.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously going to get a couple because it's Patrick Mahomes, even though, early in the season, he was fine.
And they've been so, beatable recently.
Yeah, and that's, really the concern, is, Patrick Mahomes, that team has looked pedestrian. This week is a bad sample size because they rested everybody and lost to the Chargers.
But they lost big to the Chargers. It wasn't even, like, competitive. It was like, look how shitty our defense is if we don't have our stars.
Yeah, and Justin Herbert went out there and made them look foolish. Fucking 300-plus yards, 3 touchdowns.
So are we talking about that game? What game are we talking about now?
I'm talking about Aaron Rodgers. I'm not even talking about the game.
All right. What's up with Aaron?
I mean, the Packers blew out the Bears, and the Bears are still in the playoffs for some fucking reason. So
helps when you start 5-1.
Yeah, I guess, and you just ride that fraction of a momentum. Guess who else started 5-1? Cleveland Browns.
I still think the Red. No, not them. I still think the football team should have to play Chicago, and the other side should still be Alabama, Ohio State.
Do a play-in game between those two,
Hell
and then
yeah.
a play-in game, and then whoever wins the national championship takes the loser's spot.
Like the Bears play Ohio State because they're close, and fuck. The football team, whatever. Alex, listen, all respect to Alex Smith.
Yeah, Alex Smith, he's the GOAT right now. But that's all I wanted to talk about with Packers and Bears is Aaron going win MVP.
What do the Bears do at quarterback going forward? Man. What does Green Bay do at quarterback going forward? I mean, you just drafted Jordan Love.
Well, you don't bench Aaron Rodgers. Like, Aaron Rodgers is definitely more graceful when it comes to probably would be more graceful than like Brett Favre was when the same thing happened to Brett Favre. Mm-hmm. But Aaron Rodgers is playing on a completely different level right now than Brett Favre was. He was 48 passing touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 4,200 yards.
Even with Josh's 38, he still threw 10.
Yeah, 70% completion.
Was it 38 or 37? Anyways, he broke Jim Kelly's record for passing touchdowns, and he broke Drew Bledsoe's passing yardage. So Josh Allen is the best fucking quarterback in Bills history.
Statistically. Objectively.
And subjectively. Especially subjectively.
Well, that's mostly you.
I've got people agreeing with me now.
Hey, I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah.
My sample size of Bills football is literally since I've met you.
Fair enough.
So, because the only teams I really paid attention to prior to that was in the AFC North.
That makes sense. All right, so what's our next game?
Fucking the Philadelphia Eagles threw and ruined the New York Giants' night.
God.
For the rest of eternity.
First of all, how are you going to pull Hurts? Second of all, how is Hurts not spelled with a Z? It's cooler, just like laser. I'm going to keep misspelling that man's name for the rest of my career.
Jalen Hurts, the Zach Ertz.
Yeah.
So, evidently, this was the rationale, because I watched the interview with Doug Peterson at the end of the game.
He didn't want his wide receivers to hit their bonuses at the end of the year.
Evidently, he was like, Nate Sutfield has been on our roster for multiple seasons and deserved snaps.
Evaluation.
I was not trying to throw the game. I think Nate Sutfield was just as capable.
So counterpoint to that, they made him renegotiate his contract at the beginning of the season. Have they not already evaluated him?
Yeah. How much faith do you have in a guy who you made renegotiate because you didn't think he was valued at your original contract after you evaluated him?
Also, have you not learned anything from the Bengals-Ravens game a few years ago? Your job is to play spoiler in your division. Danny Dimes is supposed to be in the playoffs right now, and you were like, we're going to evaluate some talent right now. No, because the other team sucks too.
Yeah, and that's completely backwards to like the attitude going into this game from last week, where like the whole Philadelphia Eagles roster was basically they called it the no hat mentality.
Right.
We're not letting Washington put on that division championship hat in the link.
And yet,
and then you pull probably the most dynamic thing. Like, I'm not saying he had a great game yesterday because he didn't.
If there was,
but like,
sorry, go on.
But Jalen Hurts is literally the most dynamic thing on the field for you right now. Like, he has legit scrambling speed, has shown decent decision making, and you're better off keeping him in high pressure situations like that to play spoiler, to truly evaluate what you have getting away from Carson Wentz.
Also, if you're going to evaluate someone, make it be Carson.
Yeah, like, that's the guy
Carson
you need to that's the guy you need to reevaluate. And you got to get some fucking tape on him so you can offload that damn contract. Because let's face it, you're either eating the cap hit or you're trading him for fucking peanuts next season.
The peanuts, well, yeah.
Fucking
I heard
there's
some
teams out there. There's teams out there.
I heard some talk about
there's some Colts rumbling.
Him potentially cutting a $20 million check back to the Eagles just to get out of town, which seems insane. Like, absolutely insane.
If I was him, I'd do it.
Just to get somewhere.
Because
you're clearly not the starter at this point.
Yeah, just pull the Band-Aid off. Like, the Eagles have made it abundantly clear that they gave up on this season and that they gave up on him as a starting quarterback. They want to see what they have in Jalen Hurts, and then they fuck that up too.
Oh shit! I just thought of something.
What's that?
What if he goes to the Raiders and reestablishes his connection with Mr. No Hands Aguilar, who suddenly found out how to be a wide receiver this year, and all of the other weapons that they have at their white boy slot receiver and their big tight end.
And arguably one of the best QB minds at head coach in our generation.
Hey! You know. I think I'm sorry, I have to work into Mike Gruden. I think I could take that cursing kid and do something.
Yeah, do the Chucky face.
But yeah,
I love that man.
I don't think
I'm so glad he's coaching. I'm so glad he's coaching again.
Yeah, well, we got him for another 8 years because that's what they signed him to.
10-year, $100 bajillion contract.
Tell me how to. I need to talk to John Gruden just to learn how to trick somebody into that kind of contract.
No, you need to talk to Adam Gase to figure out how to trick somebody into that.
Dude,
kind of
fucking
contract.
big move.
Because Adam Gase is still on the hook in New York for 2 more years.
Jesus.
Even though he's cut, he was signed to 2022.
Oh, he pulled a Chan Gailey, is what you're saying. Anyways, we'll talk about head coaches in a second. What's our next game?
The next game and the last game on the docket.
Maybe. We'll see. I've still got some other shit to say. I mean, I think we briefly touched on it, but okay. But I guess we did touch on it. I think you're wrong about Tua, and you should have backed the other mobile out in not San Diego.
Oh, are you talking about who is better between Justin Herbert and Tua Tagovailoa?
Yeah.
Everybody's entitled to their opinion. Yours just happens to be wrong.
Mine just happens to be statistically backed up. He's gonna win. He's gonna win Offensive Rookie of the Year.
No, Justin Jefferson's gonna win Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Okay, maybe.
You don't break league records and not win Offensive Rookie of the Year.
I'm sorry. Who's got more touchdown passes in their rookie year?
Who also happened to be in the same draft class as Saquon Barkley.
Wait, what does that have to do with anything?
Saquon Barkley was the one that won Rookie of the Year because he broke a bunch of rookie rushing records.
Oh, okay, fair enough. You might be right. We'll see. Well, I mean, we'll see how the voters decide.
They better decide right. Because if Tua ain't going to win, it sure as fuck's not going to be Justin Herbert. Because I ain't wrong about Tua.
Okay.
All right. I'm out of games. All I have left is news.
Okay, yeah, let's talk news. Let me start off on news for once.
Do it.
Yo, it's a real bad day to be a Bills former head coach.
All of them got fired.
All of them got fired. And basically, every head coach we've had in the last 10 years before Sean McDermott just got fired today. Mm-hmm. Chan Gailey got fired as offensive coordinator. Doug Marrone got fired as head coach. Anthony Lynn got fired as head coach. And then there's Adam Gase, who was like close to us, but not a Bills head coach, thank God.
Mm-hmm. You know what's talking about the coaching carousel?
Welcome to Black Monday.
Yeah.
I mean,
today is
Black
Monday.
Tuesday.
Black Tuesday. So for people that aren't privy to this momentous occasion, it's the last day of regular season, or the last operating day of after the last regular season game. Is referred to as Black Monday, because that's when everybody cleans out their coaches and GMs that suck. The problem with that, though, is you get the opposite side of that, where you start seeing people interviewing.
Yep.
And guess who's probably going to lose their offensive coordinator to a divisional rival?
Shut up. I don't know. Shut up. We're going to win the Super Bowl. He's not going to have time to interview.
I mean...
Can't interview until you're done working.
Unless he gets permission.
Because
remember, Kyle Shanahan did that before he got his job.
The Pagulas better fucking not.
Yeah. He got permission from ownership in Atlanta to interview for the head coaching job before the Super Bowl.
The Pagulas better fucking not.
He was offered the job before the Super Bowl, and then that was the 28-3 game. Kyle Shanahan's fault.
Just saying.
He already had another job. He checked out. Kyle Shanahan, another fucking coach that we should have never fired. But yeah, Brian Daboll. Yep, is scheduled to interview with the Jets for their newly vacant head coach position.
Nah. They're not going to get Trevor Lawrence. Why would he interview for it?
And that's literally the only head coaching job that he's scheduled to interview for.
Fine, interview for it, and then figure out what their internal structure is. We'll get scouting knowledge on, more of the AFC East before they draft Justin Fields. And, maybe he'll get a look at a couple of their playbooks, and then he'll come back to Buffalo. Daboll is from Buffalo. He's from the area, goddammit.
Hey, LeBron James is from Cleveland.
LeBron James was a player, and he's getting the salaries and everything are way different. Also, Daboll's
if he can get a $10 to $12+ million a year head coaching job from the Jets.
Also, what did LeBron leave for?
Championships.
What is Daboll got a chance at in Buffalo?
Yeah, but it's for coaches. It's opposite in football land. You win a championship as an offensive coordinator, or win a bunch of.
Listen, just because Brian Daboll's already got multiple championships, shut your mouth.
And that gets you the cool head coach job on a shitty team.
I think he's already got 3 rings with the Patriots and a ring with Saban in college.
Yeah. Oh, and that's the thing, we don't talk about, with Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick has more than just his Patriots head coach rings, because he was he was a coordinator for the Giants when they won 2.
Yep. Yep.
Fuck Bill Belichick.
God. Brian, listen, I'm going to back Stephon Diggs and Cole Beasley and say fucking Brian Daboll better not go anywhere. I learned how to say your name correctly. Dabble.
Yep. But
you and that dude from South Carolina might as well be Dabo Sweeney. Yeah, y'all were the same in my head before I learned your name. God damn it! You better not go anywhere.
But Black Friday, or this Black Monday this year, marks a momentous occasion because we've already alluded to it. But Adam Gase finally fired.
Adam Gase is finally the thing that you've been complaining about all year.
Finally happened. They didn't even wait for him to get off he was just getting off the plane, and they're just like, get out.
They were like, hey, your car is over here. You've got your chauffeur. It's the one that says fired on it.
So
he's gonna be the head. He's gonna be the quarterback coach in New England. This was already lined up.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna get a job somewhere else. But like, I still to this day do not understand what he's. No, well, I finally figured it out. I finally did research after he got fired. I was like, I read an entire article about like the Adam Gase debacle.
Uh-huh.
You know why he got that job?
Yeah, Peyton Manning.
Peyton fucking Manning.
Peyton
Manning,
because you're
retired. Stay retired.
Because he was a quarterback coach.
He was the quarterback coach for Peyton Manning in Indianapolis, or in Denver rather. Go Peyton, go away. Stop ruining football.
Which is why he's going to be the New England quarterback coach.
Yeah.
Also,
and,
also, here's the real thing. The counterpoint to that is, if you're such a good fucking quarterback coach, what the fuck did you do with Sam Darnold?
Well, what the fuck did you do with Ryan Tannehill?
Yeah.
This is not an isolated incident.
It's like, oh yeah, he's a great coach. You know what he's great at? Coaching quarterbacks. You know what quarterbacks do under him? I see ghosts. I see dead people.
And then when he was the quarterback coach in Denver, he was coaching Peyton Manning. You don't coach Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning coaches you.
Yeah, pretty much.
And that was some of the worst seasons in Peyton Manning's career. So, go away, Adam Gase. Nobody likes you. You got anything else on Black Monday?
On this Black Monday, no. I mean, it was ridiculous to see. I had to refresh the Facebook real quick because it died on me, and I was curious if everybody was still paying attention. Apparently, people have been commenting, and I'm behind now. But
yeah, I mean, they commented like an hours ago.
No, it was just crazy to be like, Gailey, Lynn, other shithead.
That other guy you mentioned.
Yeah, it was just like, oh wow, you guys are all not doing well elsewhere, and I'm not upset to see you go.
Yeah, I don't think you're hurting right now because of their departure.
No, I trust the process. See this right here.
That's what the process gets you, evidently. It also gets you losing your offensive coordinator to a division rival.
Not yet.
Whatever.
And hopefully not ever. But we'll see. Is there any other decent news?
Yes. Ron Rivera. Cold-blooded. As fuck.
Probably coach of the year.
Yeah. In his post-game interview, you play who's out there. I'm not apologizing for winning, in response to the Giants being all bent out of shape because the Eagles benched their quarterback.
Right.
And didn't play, spoiler, because coaching.
I could see Chase Young getting around the corner and just breaking Tom Brady. And then the Washington football team wins that game.
It could happen.
Have they played? They haven't played. They haven't played this year, have they?
Not that I'm aware of. That TB12 floppy fish method can only work so many times, and your ass is getting old.
And they're out. Mike Williams now.
Mike Evans. Yes.
Evan Williams.
Well, quick news. Tom Brady doing Antonio Brown a solid to make sure he got his bonus.
Saw that.
Yeah.
3 shovel passes.
Yep. Hey, get some 3 quick shovel passes so you hit your receptions mark so you can get your fucking $1 million bonus on your contract or whatever.
Yeah. I don't even think it was $1 million. I think it was like $85,000, but
yeah. It was definitely more money in his pocket now.
It's more than I make in a year.
Yep. Got anything else?
I would like to receive 3 shovel passes for $85,000. I will suit up and get hit by anyone in the NFL for $85,000. Anyone on a shovel pass on an end around. Do I have to make yardage on it, or do I just have to receive the passes?
Take the hit and don't fumble the ball.
I don't even think you don't have to fumble the ball. You just have to receive it, right?
Oh, you're talking about for the stat account? Yeah, you just have to receive it.
Okay, yeah. As long as I will catch the ball.
You have to have clear possession of the ball.
I will have 2 feet down and then get absolutely blasted for $85,000.
Me too. Sign me up. Let's do it. We'll do what was that old show? Pros versus Joes?
Yeah.
Let's bring that shit back.
Please bring Joe Thomas to host that show.
All right.
Because then you've got a pro Joe that's actually hosting it.
Hell yeah. You got anything? Because I got one last bit of news.
I will. You start with yours, and I will see if I can scour anything up.
Okay. So obviously the playoff schedules have been announced.
Yep. Oh no. Okay, here's breaking news.
Okay, breaking news.
Raiders running back Josh Jacobs booked on DUI charges.
That's not a good look.
After a single vehicle crash in Las Vegas. So apparently he was drunk, didn't hit anybody else, but that's not great for the Raiders.
Not great for the Raiders. Yeah, arrested Monday morning for suspicion of driving impaired. Single car accident near McCarran Airport. Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah. News as of an hour ago / when we were recording this.
Guess who's getting suspended?
Boy, guess who's getting put on the league no fun policy?
Yeah, you get the substance abuse policy.
You get a substance abuse, and you get a substance abuse, and you get a...
Yep, the commissioner's exempt list if Roger Goodell's feeling like an asshole.
Yep.
He'll probably get 6 games. We have precedent.
But I think that's the only thing I've got. What was your wrap up going to be? Hey, I found my one bit of news.
Yeah. Yeah, playoff schedules got announced.
Yes.
They're televising a playoff game on Nickelodeon.
Yes.
B, the Bills-Colts game is not a primetime game.
It is on Saturday, though.
It is a Saturday at 1 p.m., so it is the only game being played that day.
Is it the only game that day or in that slot?
Or in that slot, yeah. So
it's effectively a primetime game.
Yeah, well, but it's not, because there's 2 other games after it that are actually in primetime.
Okay, my general thought is that any game that doesn't have another game going up against it is a primetime game.
So any national televised game
that doesn't have something else going up against it, yes.
Okay, but that's not what primetime is.
I mean, we can have our difference of opinions. Again, it's what I consider it. You don't have to consider it the same thing. So that makes me the fourth and you the wrong.
Yeah, but except we have an objective definition of what primetime means as a scheduling block for television. And 1:05 p.m. is not that.
Then where does the 6 o'clock Thanksgiving game fall in? Because it starts outside of prime time, but this is a stupid argument. Go on.
I mean, it's not an argument.
This is a stupid conversation.
It's facts. Yeah, no, I was just mentioning it because I felt like, the Bills and the Colts deserved a late night slot.
Yeah. Well, they're playing in Buffalo. Mm-hmm. What are the other games that day?
The other games that day are Seattle and the Rams.
West Coast.
At 4:40. And then the Washington Footballers and Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Okay, yeah, those two should be. We should be the late night game, and Tampa Bay Washington should be the 1 o'clock game.
Yeah, that's all I was saying.
Okay.
Yeah, and but Cleveland Browns Pittsburgh Steelers rematch is the 8:15 game on Sunday. So,
So la-dee-da. You get to lose last.
Yeah, which also means I get... And the other reason why I mention this is because first time the Browns have been in the playoffs in 18 years. First playoff game in 18 years. Guess who has to work this Sunday?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I don't even get to watch the game, RJ.
I mean, you might.
There is a chance that I will not be able to even watch the game.
Just call all the old people and be like, don't do anything stupid.
Yeah. This is important to me.
Nobody drive. Call all your pig friends and tell them to shut down the highways just so that nobody crashes.
Okay. I like how you refer to my cop friends as pig friends.
What? I drove past.
Hey, it is on brand.
I drove past the pig house on the way out of Baltimore, and I was like, man, it's really weird that the local district is calling themselves out like that. But hey, apparently it's famous.
Fair enough.
Also, shout out to the pig house in Baltimore. Never been there, but I plan to be. I had fat back for lunch or for breakfast before I left Baltimore. You know what I mean?
All right, I'm done with this show.
Okay.
Wrap it up.
So this has been the Fourth and Wrong podcast. If you tuned in, we really appreciate it. If you didn't, you're hearing it now, and we still appreciate it. But this has been the Fourth and Wrong podcast for January the 4th, 2021. Say goodbye, Keith.
We're in the playoffs, baby. Yeah.
Yeah. Say goodbye, Keith.
Goodbye, Keith. Yeah.
Hold on.
Did you move your mic?
Yeah, it's here.
Okay.
Hey, fair question. Yours has the pop filter in front of it. It's very clear where your microphone is.
Right. Especially when I talk down to it like this.
Yep.
I talk down to you, Mike. You're beneath me, both physically and metaphysically.
And emotionally. And subconsciously. And
probably
religiously. I have sex with my microphone.
Yo.
All right.
Your microphone probably could pull it off. Everything's a dildo if you're brave enough.
Hey.
My microphone's literally just a big ball, so it'd be like the world's most traumatizing anal bead.
Yeah.
Like look at this fucking thing.
Mm-hmm. God, but think of like
that's that sweet pre-show content.
Think of the recording quality on those anal beads though.
The sound.
Just like as they're popping out one by one. like dropping a rock into a paint can full of water. I don't know how that's gonna look at the end.